Hey there everyone, how you doing? So just sitting here getting ready to head out for a really exciting day with the family, checking out some cool locations, and I have about 15 minutes before we go. So I thought I would answer a student question. I got this, I guess I got it last night, but I didn't see it till this morning. And it is basically about, hey, you talk a lot about learning your market, understanding what's bad, average, good, and great. And in the course, you tell us to build our spreadsheets, your tracking spreadsheets and all of that. But, this individual, this student is kind of getting lost. It's kind of too many details. And he's asked for me to create a kind of updated video, which I will absolutely do and add to the course. But in fairness, that is likely going to have to wait till we are back in the country and I can really have the time to put that together. But before I do that, I thought I would answer the question for all of you. So again, remember, really what we did is we learned our market, and I keep telling you I looked every day for 10 years. But I didn't really tell you how or what I was looking for and how I tracked all of it. It's kind of been not really talked about in detail. So I think it's a great question. So when I think about tracking and just kind of building the spreadsheet, there's kind of a few things to remember. First off, why are you building it? Right? You're building this spreadsheet because you're trying to learn a market, and most specifically, it's that far right column in my spreadsheet, which is yield. And simply stating, most of the columns that you are tracking likely as you build this out don't impact yield, right? What impacts yield? It's the purchase price, it's the down payment, which for most of you is going to be the same regardless. It's make ready. Right? Is it a turnkey property or is it something you have to fix? And then lastly, it's going to be the rent, right? Not to mention the expenses and all of that. But there's only a few factors that really, really impact yield. The greatest example is square footage. I have seen plenty of 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes that are 1,250 square feet. I have seen plenty of 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes that are 900 square feet. And with only slight variations, the rent is the same. If there's drastically different location or one's on a busy street or not, sure. But in general, square footage is one of those factors that so rarely directly impacts rent. So just think about why you're doing it and all the data that you're collecting. So, as you build this out, I think you go through 3 evolutions. Right, when you take the course, you start building. You're kind of getting the basics, right? Because I give you samples, right? It's the street address, number of bedrooms, number of baths, purchase price. Maybe you're adding things like 1-story or 2-story, whatever is unique to your market. But then you start getting creative, right? You start going in and you start, your columns go from 12 to 29 and then 37 and finally 51 columns. And what I would say there is just because you can get those additional metrics, don't forget why you're doing it, right? I often think less is more. You're really just trying to get the feel for what's moving in your market, what's having price drops, what's having interest and not interest, right? What's on the market for a day and then it's gone, like, oh my God, it's sold. Right, that's the kind of stuff you're trying to get to. So, phase 1's basic. Phase 2 is, I'm going to capture everything, and then phase 3, I want you to start whacking things. Right, so just start removing them. I do think there's a couple of things that are important to track that maybe not in the spreadsheet or at least not obvious. For me, that is when dates. Right, when did things change? For me, it was important in the beginning to figure out when stuff came on, and then when I didn't see it anymore. Right. Today, that data is kind of there with Zillow and all these other things. But remember, we started doing this 20 years ago. So when things changed, I had to go, oh, great, where's 123 Main Street? I don't see it anymore. So I would note it down. And then if 123 Main Street came back, I'd be like, oh, interesting. It was off the market for 3 weeks. I wonder what happened. Well, it probably went into escrow and fell out for some reason. So date changes is interesting. And then the last column I have in my spreadsheet always is, I call it comments usually. And this is just where I put my thoughts. Like if I saw a 1,250 square feet house, I would add possible 3rd bedroom, ? Because these are just things I would be learning. And if I ever talked to the agent or other agents or wanted to go see them, Those are the things I would want to go back and look for. So comment section is important for me. When things change is important for me. And then, you can start to add color, right? This is a good deal. This is a bad deal. Just so you can start to really, really learn your market. So kind of 3 things to think about just to kind of round this out. First and foremost, remember what I said in the course is be very tight on your initial selection. I want your search to be 20 to 40 active listings to begin, right? If you're learning a market and haven't really dove in yet, a list of 100 available homes is too much. If you're just starting out, I would try to get to a criteria that's 20 more than I would try to get to 40. So again, that would be, okay, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a zip code. Oh my God, that's 113. Okay, well, maybe it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath in that zip code with square footage between 1,250 and 1,500, right? So just get your criteria down because, again, it's not about finding a deal in this first criteria. You are trying to learn a skill, right? You are trying to perfect the golf swing, and you are just going to have to continually swing it every day for 30 to 45 days, and you will start to see what's moving, what's coming on, what prices are changing. That's the goal of all this. So again, your first criteria, if your first criteria is zip code, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and it's 87 listings long, stop, reset, start over. You want 20 to 40 active listings when you start this. Because again, it's not about finding the deal in those 20 to 40. It is about learning the skill. Number 2, add notes. As you start to evolve, if you look at a house and go, ooh, that could be a good one, add the comments. Ooh, that one seems priced high, add the comments. Because as you're learning day by day, these comments you could go back to in 2 weeks and see how you did, right? If you said something was too high priced and then it was off the market 5 days later, that's something to learn. If you said it was priced too high the first day you saw it and then it's still on the market 3 weeks later, congratulations, you're learning. So as you're gaining information and opinions, write it down. Don't just internalize them. Write them down so you can learn and evolve. And number 3, and I said this earlier, as you dive in, less is more. I think you have to go through the evolution of writing a lot of data down. I did it myself. But as you get to a point, probably 3-4 weeks in, start slashing. And if you don't feel comfortable slashing, just copy and paste. Create a new worksheet, right? Call the old one old, and then the new one, cut out stuff. Right? Because again, you're interested in the yield a property produces. When I talk about bad, average, good, and great, it's all about the yield number, right? What you're trying to learn in your set of criteria is, hey, my market produces 6.2% average yield for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Great. If that's true, then your job is to go out and find or create 7.5% yield or greater. And how do you create them? Well, you don't offer list price, for heaven's sakes. Dig in for this situation. As you know, 99% of the listings on the market are either bad or average. You only need 4 rental properties to change your life. 4 rental properties will change your financial future. If you choose to go by 4 and continue on the path to financial freedom, that's great. But I'll feel wonderful if you just get 4 rental properties. And again, the course that we have out there, it's only $199, is because we are trying to teach you a golf swing, to understand and evaluate good, great, bad, and average deals. And again, I don't care about the market. I don't care about the asset type. Those are for you to decide. Whatever gets you excited. If you're excited by duplexes, great. Go research duplexes. If you want to go do commercial, great. Go do commercial. We're not here to judge. If you want to do Palm Springs, or you want to do Chicago, or you want to do something in Delaware, again, we're not here. We're not picking markets for you. Every market, I believe you can find good and great deals. And as an investor, if you only focus on good and great deals, it'll be very, very easy for you to have a much better financial future. And then if you decide to go past 4, wonderful. But let's get you to 4 first. Again, I will be creating a presentation on this, adding it to the course. In reality, probably 2 to 3 weeks out, because I want to do this from our home studio. But hopefully this helps you, and you can have a wonderful day. Thanks.